just remembered a good story. I don't think I told you. After the Hedi Rebbe Elimelech left the world, so it was his son Reb Lezer, and I forget the name of his second son. It was a few days, like obviously it was a few days after Rebbe Elimelech left the world, or maybe a few weeks, and a lady comes in and she says, bless me to have children. So they said, it's not so simple. They were like fetching a little bit. Obviously they wouldn't get trained Rebbes. So she said, it's okay, if you don't bless with the children, I'll go to Chaim the Schneider, Chaim the Tailor. I think this is already a chutzpah. If you don't have to, you go to Chaim the Tailor. So they said to her, well, what about Chaim the Tailor? They said, you really think I need you? Chaim Tailor can do whatever you do. And he doesn't kvetch, he doesn't ask. See, even the Rebbes shouldn't kvetch. L'chaim. So Reb Lezer thought it's not so simple. You got to find out who Chaim the Schneider is. So he makes his way down to Chaim the Schneider. He says, Chaim, is it true that you help people? He says, yes. So how do you do it? He says, I'll tell you. It's very simple. I'm a tailor. It's basically, it's always the same story, like in those days, it was heartbreaking. Never when a Yid didn't pay rent, what they did with him was the children, every day. He says, I was working for this nobleman. My whole parnasa was from a nobleman. And like after Pesach, he would take me, we would go to the marketplace and buy good material, and I would make garments for his wife and for the whole family. Yeah, take a message. Yeah, but take the message, Mamish, write down the number right, so we'll call them back later. L'chaim again. And after Rosh Hashanah, I would go again, buy new material, and I would work on it, so on. One day he says to me, I don't have time to buy material, so you go buy material, here you have 10,000 rubles. I'm going on the way to the marketplace, and again, I see a nobleman standing by the marketplace, and selling 2 Jewish children as slaves. I said to the person, how much you want for those children? Whatever he says, it was exactly the amount of money I had. I bought the children, brought them back home. And I always thought that my nobleman is maybe a little bit of a match. I went back to the nobleman, I told him the whole story, so I'll tell you the truth. You can punish me, you can put me in prison, or you can kill me, but I couldn't do any other way. Anyway, he got so angry at me, and it just, don't you ever dare coming back. Okay, at least he didn't kill me. I ran out, and the craziest thing is, I don't know why, but I wanted to be a tailor again, I just couldn't. I forgot how to be a tailor. And I went mamish midechi, I was mamish begging on the street. Then finally someone told me, why don't you go to Rebbe Elimelech? I went to the Rebbe Elimelech and I said to him, is that the way God pays off and someone saves lives? I did the whole thing. Did they give their number? I called them in the queue. Hey, brother. Hey, brother, coming fast. How you doing? So I came to Rebbe Elimelech and I was mamish crying before him. Rebbe Elimelech says, don't worry, you don't have to be a tailor anymore. I'll show you a secret place where there's some grass. And whoever you give a bracha and give them that grass, whatever they ask, will be fulfilled. You see, I just came. You know what the Purim Rebbe is? A Purim Rav? He doesn't know anything, right? Rebbe Elimelech knows what he's doing. Chaim the Schneider doesn't know anything. Just he knows there was grass, and whoever eats that grass will be helped. L'chaim. I want to start from the other side. Everybody knows Chodesh Adar is sometimes 2 months and sometimes 1 month. And the thing is that the 12 tribes, everybody knows that Chodesh Nisan is the month of Yehuda and goes around, and Chodesh Adar is the month of Yosef. So Yosef is sometimes Menashe and Ephraim, sometimes it's counted for 2, and sometimes it's counted for 1. If it's a month of Yosef, then it's 1. If it's Menashe and Ephraim, then it's 2. Okay, also, I don't understand it 100%, but just regardless, Shnasa Iba, every few years there's a leap year because somehow the sun and the moon have to get together again. And obviously, this year, because of Menashe and Ephraim, the sun and the moon are evening out the world. And also something very special. This month is the letter is Kuf, and what we have to fix is Schoi. The fixing is laughter. Okay, let's start from there, and then some will work our way back. Remember, we're learning a lot of times what is laughter and what is joy. And if you remember, we're learning the Ishbitzer says a lot of Torahs, but today I will learn it in a different way. Listen to me, friends. You know, I want to buy a new suit for Purim, and anyway, I'm walking in there, and they have a suit which is worth $500, and they sell it for $350. Okay, that's simcha, right? Really a little bit joy. Sell it for less. But imagine I'm going into this big department store, and they're selling a suit which is worth $500. They sell it for $1. It's not simcha. That's laughter. It's crazy. I can't believe it. You see, if the profit is in proportion, then I'm joyous. If the profit is beyond proportion, it's laughter. I want you to know, in the deepest way, Yom Kippur, everything is in proportion. I say, Rabbi Shem, I did 10 Averas, and for that I did 10 mitzvahs, right? And Rabbi Shem, I did 10 Averas, I promise you I'll do tshuva. Everything is measured, everything is in proportion. So simple. So after Yom Kippur is the man simple set. Purim is something else. Purim, suddenly God opens gates for us, then it's beyond proportion. I want you to know, on the Shlachmonos of Purim is beyond proportion, right? I want to show you how much I love you, or at least buy me a house in Monaco, send me $2 million. Well, are you sending me an apple and an orange, not blow my mind? That's schoi. Can't believe it. Can't believe it. Okay. Just keep this in your head. We need a little place for Manot. Anyway, so all the Rebbe say one thing, that kuf basically comes from the word monkey. There is kuf, but there's kuf also kedusha, holiness. And then there was kuf, unholy. Listen, friends, what brings about the greatest laughter in the world? When someone knows how to imitate, right? What's a comedian? I'm standing here and I imitate somebody, everybody's laughing. Okay, now listen to me, friends. There is again laughter of Amalek, laughter of Yosef, of Yishmael. I imitate. It's the biggest laughter. The world is only laughing from imitation. But then there was something else. Also kuf, imitation. But if imitate God, loves it. That is Schreib Dikdush. What was the beginning of the downfall? The snake comes to Chava and says, I want you to be like God. V'yisem kelekim, right? It's imitation. But now let me ask something. Isn't everything imitation? Everything is imitation. I want my children. What's chinuch? Imitation. I tell my children, I keep Shabbos, you keep Shabbos. I give tzedakah, you give tzedakah. V'holachta b'drochav is imitation of God. All of Yiddishkeit is imitation. So, you know what it is? It's such a thin line. Such a thin line between holy imitation and real imitation. You know, to imitate God on the level of tree of knowledge looks good, but the end is its death. It's just meaningless. And then the real imitation of God, the lachte bedrochen, real imitation of God, for real. You know, I'm not doing it on the level of imitation for real, right? You see, I can visit a sick person on the level of imitation, and I can visit a sick person mamish for real. It hurts me so much they're sick. You know, what's wrong with say anything bad? The Jewish community, the Orthodox community, most of the time. It's just imitation. Right? You have a beard, I have a beard. You buy kosher meat. They always ask first what the other one is doing, right? Today when you talk to rabbis without saying anything bad, I'm not talking about Rab Moshe, the real ones, but like the half ones. Like the half-baked potatoes, right? They always ask what's the other one saying, right? They don't say, when you go to Rab Moshe, he doesn't say to you, what did somebody else say? Because who cares what somebody else says? He mamish knows the Torah, and he says what the Torah says, right? But if the little ones, you know, I call up a little Rebbe, they always says, well, did you ask someone before what he said? Who cares, right? So maybe you can put the phone somewhere far away so it won't disturb us. Rebbe, can you maybe put the phone somewhere or put some cushions over it?
Take it off.
Oh, take it off the hook. Rebbe, I have mamish a little trouble concentrating because, you know, I came from San Francisco directly. San Francisco, New York. So mamish, my head is like a little not so strong on my head, on my shoulders. So mamish, if you give me the strongest concentration. I just want to throw in one more thing. What is the most godlike thing I can do? The most godlike. The most godlike thing is to give without being seen. The Rebbe Shlomo gives everything and nobody sees it. Nobody sees it. So on Purim, I reached the level of the highest imitation of God. I'm selling shlachmonos, not face to face. And I want you to know the deepest depths. I would bless everyone to get married to the right person. When you get married, the first thing is you cover the face of the bride. You know what that means? The deepest depths. I bless you. Because everybody knows, at that moment, when you cover the face of the bride, mamish, the children come down from heaven. Mamish Sachosim bless the color. I bless you. I bless you to give without being seen. And I just want to add something very special. You know why children, when they're born, they keep their eyes closed for a few weeks? Because they know my children, my parents love me so much. They want to give me everything without me knowing. So long as they keep their eyes closed. What's the first sign of loving somebody, mamish, on a God level? That I want to give everything for you. I don't want you to know that. I don't want you to know how much you love me. Yeah, I want you to know, but I want you to know what I'm doing for you. Okay, now listen to me. When don't I want you to know what I'm doing for you? Only if I'm giving you something beyond proportion. Listen, if I buy for you 2 Chalas Shabbos, you can start. I give you a piece of chocolate, that's proportion. Here, I want you to open your heart the deepest way. What is the most utmost non-proportion Chava is doing for her children? Mamish, to bring them into the world. You see, listen to me. Eitz Hadas, a tree of knowledge, everything is in proportion. This is good, this is bad, everything is proportion. What's the fixing of Chava? The fixing is that she's mamish ready. God forbid, our women should live long and happy. Remember the Hashem said before Mashiach is coming, Chava fixes everything and childbirth is not dangerous anymore. But basically the whole thing is that Chava is ready to die for her children. That's what's the fixing. You see, Chava says to Adam, I'm dying, I want you to die with me. And the fixing is, the deepest fixing is, that Chava says to her children, I'm ready to die. It's beyond proportion. So when children are born, they keep their eyes closed because the mother doesn't want them to know I'm ready to die. Everybody knows that the deepest fixing of Chava is Esther, right? And Purim is mamish atmos wiping out. And if you remember, without getting too deep, if you remember Chet Eitz Hadas, God says to Odom Hamin Ho Eitz. The Gemara says Homan min ha-Torah menayin. Where's Homan written in the Torah? So the Gemara says because God says to Odom Hamin Ho Eitz Asher tzevisicha levilti echol. Did you eat from the tree of knowledge? So God says Hamin Ho Eitz. Homan. Homan is the tree of knowledge. Homan is the tree of knowledge. Tree of knowledge, everything is in proportion. It's not only good or bad. It's in proportion. Good is good is bad. It's fine, it's not so fine. The tree of knowledge is beyond proportion. Beyond proportion. Okay, can you imagine the Rebbe Shlomo is hiding? Even the Rebbe Shlomo, when he gives, the Rebbe Shlomo created the world in such a way that the Rebbe Shlomo, unless you want to see him, you don't see him. You know, you can read the Bible and still not know there is one God. So God is even hiding in the Torah. But can you imagine how much God is hiding on Purim that God took his name out from the Megillah? There is no mention of God's name in the Megillah. Because on Purim, what God wants to give us is so much out of proportion that the Rosh doesn't even want us to mention his name. The Rosh is hiding. Esther min ha-Torah menayin. Esther's mom is the deepest hiding. Deepest. You see, I want you to know something so deep. The world is always learning, well, Noicha has to ask the punish. God is hiding his face because God really wants to punish us. But at Purim, we realize God is hiding because he wants to give us so much. You coming in, brother, or are you hiding? Good. You have to move in closer because brother Elimelech has to come in. L'chaim. Okay, folks, keep me going, folks. Just give me your energy. At this moment, I just want to start from there. What's the difference between the sun and the moon? Everybody says it's clear as sunlight, right? When the sun is shining, there is no hiding. The moon, even while the moon is shining, you can also hide. The moon is like a little bit the light of hiding. The sun, so you see what it is. We'll have to go into it later. Just want you to think about it. Come in, brother. If there is such a thing. Rabbi, can you all come in? That's really heartbreaking. Hey. Nechami is coming or is not coming? He does know that. I know. Jonathan, someone squeeze yourself down on the floor if you can.
There's room here.
Hey, brother. Okay, Rabbi, just give me your attention, Rabbi, please. I want you to know the deepest level is there's hiding and there's beyond hiding. And hiding or not hiding. And then there's something, it's so close that I can't hide. I love you so much, I'm so much aware of you that you can't hide. You see, on one hand, the fixing of Purim is the hiding, because this is the fixing of the Hatzaddik. Because Hatzaddik, everything is in proportion, and beyond proportion is already on the level of hiding. I want to hide. I want to do something for you so awesome. I don't want you to know. Then the fixing of Shnasa Ibra is of a leap year that the sun and the moon get together. That the fixing is. I want to share something awesome with you. Everybody knows Shnasa Ibra, the first Shabbos is always Parshas Truma. Is Mamish Beis HaMikdash, it's V'Shachanti B'Sar. I'm so much one with you, it's beyond hiding. Because hiding and not hiding is only when we are two. When I'm mamish one with you, there's no hiding or not hiding. It's even deeper than
I
Chaim. I want to say something unbelievable. This whole idea of proportion and beyond proportion. I want to share something awesome with you, as simple as it is. Let's say a child of 4 or 5 can make a little drawing, right? It's in proportion. Little girl of 4 or 5 can make a bracha, why not? For me, and for all the parents, I bless everyone to have children, when you hear your child making a bracha, is it in proportion, beyond proportion? It blows your mind like you can't believe it. You can't believe it. How much I want you to open your heart the deepest way. Everybody knows, this is Torah Sheba'al Peh. What did every Yid bring to the Mishkan? Why did you need Moshe Rabbeinu to build the Mishkan? What was the whole thing? What did every Yid bring? What every Yid brought is mamish, this one nekudah Torah they have. Everybody has something holy. Everybody has something very holy. But it's covered, right? It's hidden. You can give me the deepest energy, friends. Everybody has something holy in the Bible. How did Moshe Rabbeinu build the Mishkan? This Yidder brought one piece of gold, but what he really brought is mamish, the nekudah Torah. And Moshe Rabbeinu took all the nekudas Torah. Moshe Rabbeinu took everything. Every Yid brought what is good about him. And you see what it is? How do you put 2 people together? You don't match up what's wrong with them. Because what's wrong with me, what's wrong with you will never get together. Hopefully. Unless we both are completely crazy. Have you ever seen an incident? You know, mamish. It's crazy, right? But mamish, what's getting people together? My good part and your good part should connect, right? And I want to say the same thing. You know, when people get married, the first thing you cover the face of the bride. You know what I'm saying to her? You know what I'm connecting to you? I want to connect to that part of you which is hidden. The deepest, holiest part of you. The deepest, holiest part. Okay, so here I want you to know something. And also Shlachmonos, I'm sending you, not face to face, letting you know, to let you know that my good part is connecting to your good part. Okay, now, the thing is like this. It's against Chayk, right? I want you to know I blow my mind over here with a good part. If I don't love somebody very much, then I say it's in proportion. But listen to me. There is something which is really beyond proportion. And then there is something only because I love you so much. It's out of proportion. So I want to say something about it. Basically, Mechias Amalek by the Megillas Esther is out of proportion because it really is. That means that what the Rebbe wants to give us when we read the Megillah is so awesome, it's beyond proportion. But then, when we send Shlachmonos, it's even deeper. Suddenly, even that which is in proportion also proportion. And you know, that means humanly speaking, because whatever we do, the Rebbe is doing. That means the Rebbe is blowing his mind over every little thing he is doing. You see, and Yom Kippur, it's in proportion. I did 10 Averos, I did 10 mitzvahs. You measure it. And some was on Purim, after Shlachmonos, the whole thing is in. So here, listen to me. Yosef Hatzaddik, basically Yosef Hatzaddik, everything is in proportion. Hatzaddik is in proportion. You know, schar mitzvah keneged hafseder. How do I become a tzaddik? I figure out how much pleasure will I have from the avera. I'll have pleasure 5 minutes. It's not worth it because if I do a mitzvah, I'll have pleasure for everlasting. And I talked it over with my psychiatrist, and he also thinks that if I make a mistake, I'll have to go to analysis for 4 years, and it'll cost me $50 an hour. It's not worth it. It's all in proportion. And I want you to open your heart. When did Yosef Hatzaddik become beyond proportion? I want you to know, basically, the master of beyond proportion is David Malka Mashiach. It's Yehuda. Yehuda says to Yaakov Avinu, Anoicha Avenem Yudit Vakshenu, I'm ready to give up this world and the coming world for my brother. This is beyond proportion. This is beyond proportion. So for the Yochad Yosef Lisapik, I want you to know. And here I'm coming right back to it. What Yehuda did was open, right? He said to Yosef, to Yaakov, I'm ready to give up Olam Haba. You know what Yosef Hatzaddik did with it? And Yosef is the emissary anti-Amalek, because Ein Amalek Neufel El B'yet Zau Shel B'nei Zau Shel Rochel. Mamish beyond proportion. I'm going to tell them I'm Yosef, and I won't even say a word about being angry. You see, if Yosef Hatzaddik would say, I'm your brother and I forgive you, that'd be in proportion. You know what Yosef Hatzaddik did? Instead of making Yom Kippur, he made Purim. He made Purim. So I want you to know something awesome. Who was the first person in the world who did something beyond proportion? Beyond. When Rochel gave over the Simon to Leah, it's beyond proportion. And again, I want you to know something so awesome. Why did our Holy Mother Rochel die when she had Binyamin? Because if I told you to die for a baby is beyond. Remember, the greatest fixing of Chava is that she is ready to die for her baby, because she told Odom, die with me. So the real fixing of Purim is only from Binyamin, which is a Gewalt she-bi-khtav. Because Rochel Mamish died for Binyamin. So Binyamin is the master. Binyamin is the master of the deepest, doing something beyond proportion. Beyond proportion. So in a crazy way, I want you to know, this month is Mamish Binyamin, right? Purim is Binyamin. Purim itself is Binyamin. The month is Yosef. The month is Yosef. And basically, everybody knows at night, everybody knows, basically, Purim is over at sunset. It's 24 hours, every Yontif. So why is Purim till the next morning? Because suddenly in the Beis HaMikdash, everybody knows the time in the Beis HaMikdash was till the next morning. And this is again Yehuda. So remember, Elimelech says, on Purim during the day, it's Yosef, it's Rochel. After I get drunk, after I send Shlachmonos, it's Yosef and Yehuda together. So you hear what I'm saying? Yosef Hatzaddik is mind-blowing over that which is really mind-blowing. The Beis HaMikdash itself, Yehuda, you know what Yehuda brought down to the world? That I'm blowing my mind over. What's the Beis HaMikdash all about? What happened to the Beis HaMikdash? Why am I so broken? I come before the Rebbe, I'm so broken because I did 100 million averos. Suddenly the Beis HaMikdash was clear to me. Like Reb Nachman says, one time in my life I put on film. I blew my mind. Can't believe it. One time in my life I did somebody a favor. And suddenly it's beyond proportion. On a proportionate level, I'm a creep. On a beyond proportionate level, You know, the Gemara says, Tshuva is beriger chode b'shayt chode. 1 second I can reach heaven. It's beyond proportion. Because everybody knows that Hatzaddik has to work 1,000 years till he reaches a certain level. And here I'm a little bit Tshuva, I did 1 mitzvah, and I'm already beyond proportion. Because this is what the Mikdash is all about. How much beyond proportion. Okay, now listen to this. Why was the whole thing of Purim? Why was the feast of Purim? Achashverosh made the feast because Haman figured out that it's more than 70 years, and the Beis Hamikdash is not rebuilt. That means we'll never build the Beis Hamikdash again. We'll never go to Eretz Yisrael. And even I want you, mamish, to blow your mind, mamish. Our connection to Eretz Yisrael is beyond proportion. It's not normal. It's not normal for people to be driven out from their land for 2,000 years and come back. It doesn't make sense. And the whole connection is beyond proportion. So here I want you to know, everybody knows, that Yosef Hatzaddik is the king outside Eretz Yisrael. Yehuda is the king in Eretz Yisrael. Because Yehuda is the master of blowing your mind, not over everything which is beyond proportion, over the small thing. Because basically, Eretz Yisrael is in proportion. It's a land and a house. Like Reb Nachman says, it's a house like every house, it's a land like every land. When I see Dari telling me over 1 posik chumash, why shouldn't she say it? She's 8 years old, she can do it. I blow my mind. I just blow my mind. This Yehuda. But you see again, if you love your brother so much that you are ready to give up this world and the coming world, if you love them that much, then you can blow your mind over every nekuda Torah. So I want you to know in a certain way, before Shlachmonis, and here everybody knows that the Beis Hamikdash was called Beklaus in the Skin, because they didn't love each other. I want you to know the deepest depths. When we read the Megillah, we wipe out the Molech. From Shlachmonis on, it's been in Beis Hamikdash. So deep, so deep. So you know there's 2 kinds of laughter. So there's a laughter which is beyond proportion, which comes from Kuf Kodesh. Mamash, I imitate God, right? I'm not seen. Then I want you to know something, there's another kind of laughter, which doesn't come from imitation. Just, I can't believe that you did it. Like when a dala makes a bracha, I blow my mind. It's not because she imitated me, or because she imitated. Levi Yitzhak, where sees the Balagola is putting on film and taking care of his house, blows his mind. This is not that the imitation was so good. And here I want you to know the deepest depths. Hey. I'm hurt. How you doing? My holy cousin Vela came. I don't know if I can squeeze him in. Can you hear me in the back there, Chavra? A little bit? Or much? If not, I'll talk louder. Can you hear me or not? Yeah? Good. Okay, Chavra. Good Purim. Good. Well, you can shove it.
I might be able to.
Could change it just for the end. Gewalt starts, you know? Okay, let's not waste time, folks, please. Amalek comes to me and says to me, your whole Yiddishkeit was just imitation. Because you don't mean it. Don't tell me you mean it. You really want to keep Shabbos? Inside you don't believe in it anyway. You tell me you believe in God, you just pretend because father was a rabbi, your mother was a Rebbe, so you're going to say you don't believe in God. You don't believe in God. It's just good imitation, right? Makes you laugh. Imagine, if I would know, imagine I would walk up to the Bob Rebbe and I would say, you know something? You don't believe in it yourself. You're just imitating your father. What an imitation. Right? Unbelievable, right? So it's the biggest comedy in the world. Makes you laugh. But you know what? You know what I'm saying back to him? Yeah, it's gewalt imitation. But it's for real. We all are imitating Avraham Yitzchak Yaakov. I'm imitating. I want my children not only to imitate, I want them to do better. I want them to imitate my father. It's for real. Okay, now what's yes attached? You know, to laugh at the comedy, a good comedian, you better give a little show for 20 minutes. Bob Rebbe says, one krach. It's a good beginning. Keep on going, right? If it's all an imitation, I say, let's see something. Say, if I believe that Dari is imitating me when she makes the bracha, I say, keep on going. Let's see how much she imitates me. If it's for real. She says, Baruch Ata, and I'm already out. I'm already out of this. I'm already out of my skin. So you see what it is. Shlachmonos, I'm selling just an apple and a piece of cake. It's nothing, right? If I would say I'm sending you shlachmonos because I'm imitating last year, you better do something good, right? If it's for real, blow my mind. So once you know, on Purim I'm not learning. I'm not showing off. Maybe I'm not learning at all one word. And here I want you to know the deepest depth of the Torah. What is Torah Sheba'al Peh? How do I add to the Torah? If I blow my mind over every word of the Torah, over every letter. Why is Rabbi Akiva the emes of Torah Sheba'al Peh? Remember, Rabbi Akiva is the real fixing of Yosef, of Amalek, right? Amalek, should just put it in, no? Oh, you didn't turn it on. No, not yet. Folks, don't let me down, folks. Okay, Chava, give me energy, Chava, please. You know, what's the difference between real learning Gemara and half learning Gemara? You know, I don't want to say anything bad, you know, I'm going to places. They have Talmud, advanced Talmud. They don't blow their mind over Gemara or Rashi and Talmud. They're learning it. Because tree of life, everything, tree of knowledge, everything is in proportion. I'm learning. It's good. It's fine. Or what happens to me when I mean, not me personally, you and I, when we're learning Gemara, it's blowing our mind. Well, how did all the Rebbes make up so much Torahs on one person? It's beyond proportion. Beyond proportion. You know, remember we're learning it 1,000 times. All the Rebbes say, the world knows the Bible for 2,000 years, over 2,000 years. And those 2,000 years, they could have come up with one good commentary. Say something. You know why? Because we don't blow their mind away. Blowing their mind is us because we love the Torah so much. I blow my mind over every word. Can you imagine in those 2,000 years? And only, most probably only 1/10 is written down. Let's say Divrei Chaim is the Sefer, right? Little Torah. The sons, the holy sons of the Sefer Shalashut, sometimes Torah for 4 or 5 hours. Can you imagine how much you put in? The Heilige Zidit Torah would say Shalashut is 8 hours. And how much is written down? Just maybe 1/100 of what you said. Can you imagine when Mashiach is coming and all the Torahs will be revealed? Listen to this. The first emissary Torah Sheba'al Peh, Yom Tov, is Purim. Right? What's the first one in Torah Sheba'al Peh? Keep going in mind. So Purim is basic, it's both. It's Torah she-bi-khtav. And I blow my mind. Because Torah Sheba'al Peh is blowing my mind over every word. Blowing my mind over every word. And I'll tell you something, and this is for real. This is mamish gewalt. I want you to know, without really saying anything bad about Yidden, I want to be Ma'aradim. I talk to Yidden who are not really with it. What don't they like? Sukkot they like. Chanukah is beautiful. And Sukkot also, they don't sit in the Sukkah, but they think it's beautiful. What can't they stand? Purim. Ask around you. They think Purim is a ridiculous story. The whole thing is ridiculous. This is a test. Are you anti-moving? Are you blowing your mind over every word of the Torah? One Rebbe says to me, you know, I think I like the holidays. Just told me last week. I was at the Whole Life Expo in Los Angeles. So I don't want to say a professor of Judaica, professor of Judaica at the Jewish University for Judaism in Los Angeles came to see me. And he says to me, I was saying something about Purim. He was sweet, you know. After I said the Torah, he says, Mamish, you won me back because Purim has a different light to me now. He's Mamish sweet, you know. But he says to me, until now, I didn't like Purim because the story is ridiculous, the whole thing is stupid. And you know what it is? It's about, if you don't blow your mind over every word of the Torah, you can't stomach Purim. Yeah. Because if Amalek is still having a hold on you, and the way Amalek is having a hold on you, he says, you know what Amalek says to you? First of all, he says, be honest with me, you don't believe it yourself. You just imitate. And also he says, what's it to blow your mind? Sweet, right? It's another religion. Did you ever study comparative religion? Whatever the Jewish religions say, whatever you can find it, other religions do the same thing. In fact, it's beautiful. You know, imagine, I love this girl very much, she writes me a love letter. Then someone else comes and says, you know, I got a letter from this girl, the same words. Same thing, right? You know something, you think you're the only one who sends a love letter, she sends a love letter to 10 boys a day. Right? You think God revealed to you something? God revealing it to every shmender who fasts for 3 days and meditates has the same revelation. It's beautiful. I think it's very, very beautiful. Shows the unity of the world, right? But you don't. What are you doing on Purim, right? What are you doing on Purim? So I want you to know something. On Yom Kippur, I'm standing before God and I say, Rabbeinu Shalom, I'm sorry I did everything wrong. I promise I'll do good. But you know, on Purim, I'm not even talking about my mistakes. There's no way I'm standing before God. On Purim, I realize my fixing is not to do Avera. There is no way of not doing Avera. There's only one way of not doing it. You blow your mind over every mitzvah. You know, if I don't love somebody, there is no way of loving them or being with them. I have no connection to you. Imagine I'm married to this girl, I really don't love her so sure I hurt her feelings every day. Why not? How could I not? I'll say, listen, I hurt your feelings 10 times, you hurt my feelings 10 times, we're quit, right? This is Yom Kippur. What's the fixing? We're going to marriage council and we organize our acts, we get our act together, we won't hurt each other. That is not the point. You blow your mind over each other. You blow your mind over each other. It's the only way. You see, if I blow my mind over Megillus Esther, which is like this professor of Judaica said, it's a stupid story, right? Unless you blow your mind, the story is nothing. Like someone told me once, Megillus Esther is a very cheap romance. And he's right. If you don't blow your mind over every word of the Megillah, what's the Megillah? You blow your mind over it. I want you to know something so deep. You know, if you don't blow your mind over it, then God's name is not mentioned in the Megillah. You know, I remember I told you the highest Megillah reading I once was, first time in my life I heard the Rebbe reading the Megillah. You'll tell me God's name is mentioned in the Megillah? It was like the Shem HaMeforesh and Yom Kippur, right? I couldn't believe that a human being can read the Megillah so much holy. It's Kamal. You know, the Rebbe came Friday before Purim, then Shabbos, and then Sunday night or Monday night was Purim. I couldn't believe. My brother and I was just, we couldn't believe that there's such a thing as Megillah reading. And here I want you to know something so deep. When I listen to the Parsha every Shabbos, if I miss one word, it's also okay. By the Megillah, if I miss one word, the whole thing is bad. I missed it. You know why? Because if you blow your mind over every word, you don't want to miss one word. If I read a business letter, as long as I know how much Coca-Cola, the order, I send them the order. If I get a love letter, I miss one word, I read it again. If I miss one letter, I read it. Because it blew my mind so much. And here I want you to know something so deep. And again, I want you to know, why did we hate each other? Why did this a mikdash for us? When you love each other in proportion, then I measure, are you good or are you bad? Think you're bad. If one Jew loves the other beyond proportion, then I blow my mind every little thing you do. Okay, you're the worst Jew in the world. You tell me that one time in your life you fasted Yom Kippur? Can't believe it. Blow my mind. What do we know, right? What do we know about every heathen? What do we know what to do? So if you remember we're learning it, I think, I'm not sure if we did. It says, Vayakel Moshe Rabbeinu gets all the Yidden together, and he tells them about Shabbos, he tells them about the Miyam B'Sari. And if you remember, like Parshas Kisisa, the portion of the golden calf is right in between. And everybody's asking, basically the golden calf happened to us, sad enough, before God told us about building the Holy Temple. But in order, because, all the Rebbe say the same thing, if you would read Parshas Yisrael, that we stood on Mount Sinai, and the next Parsha we would read that we made the golden calf, we would die from shame. Wouldn't be able to bear. So therefore, the Rebbe in His utmost mercy first told us about the fixing, Magdim Refuah L'Makah, the medicine before sickness. So we read two portions, Truma Tetzaveh. We read about building of the Holy Temple. And then in the middle comes Parshas Kisisa, that we built the Holy Temple, we made the golden calf, and then for Yaakov again. I want you to know something so deep. You can put people standing next to each other, but to make one out of them, you can't. You can't. Only God can do that. I can stand next to a girl for 100 years and I won't love her. Not because I don't want to. You can't force yourself to love somebody. You can't. To be close to another human being is a gift from God. You know what Amalek says? Amalek says to you, Amalek comes and he says, the whole thing is a fake, right? The whole thing is a fake. You really think you love somebody? It's all imitation. You keep Shabbos out of imitation. You love your wife out of imitation. You love your children out of imitation. Everything is imitation. Nothing is real. What you really want, you'd like to go out, have a good time, kill people, rape girls. What else is there in life? That's the only good thing available. That's what Yosef says, right? That's Yosef's talk, right? And look, the whole world. It's Yosef, right? Yosef is still strong. It's unbelievable how strong Yosef is. You can sit in Yerushalayim, you think Yosef is already out of order. He's still going strong. Still going strong. And you see, we're not wiping out Amalek on Yom Kippur. We're wiping out Amalek on Purim. When I say to Amalek, hey brother Amalek, you're wrong. I want you to know it's for real. Yes, I'm imitating. And Kuf is for Kodesh. The real holiness is really I'm imitating God. But from inside, in the most hidden way, you don't even know it. It's so deep you can see it. Purim, everything is hidden. But not hidden. Mamish hidden. So deep. When I say to you, how are you? You think I'm thinking of are you? I'm thinking of God. Remember the famous story? One of the biggest chassidim of the Baal Shem Tov met this great rabbi, Misnagid, And they walk together and they talk and learning. So he says to him, I'm going to the Baal Shem, or to the Meir Shamagi, they don't know who it was. So he says to him, you're such a big Gaon, you know so much, you have to go to a Rebbe, you're crazy, wasting your time. He says to him, you know what the Rebbe teaches us? To read minds. He says, okay, tell me what I'm thinking right now. He says, you're thinking of God. He says, oh, you're wrong. He says, what? What? You're not thinking of that? You better go to my Rebbe. You better go to my Rebbe. I mean, you're learning Torah all your life and you're still thinking of something else. You see, Amalek comes to you and he says, everything is fake. So I said, you know something? When I talk about Achashverosh, you think I'm talking about Achashverosh? I'm talking about God. I mentioned the 10 sons of Haman, and you think I'm talking about the 10 sons of Haman? Here I want you to know something so deep. What's Yerushalayim all about? All hidden. Looks like a city. Looks like stone. It's mamash Yerushalayim Shemara. When you walk in Yerushalayim, you think you're walking in this world, you're walking in another world. Remember, Reb Elimelech says that basically Purim is like Shabbos, without getting involved on the death. Shabbos looks like every other day. But if you know what Shabbos is, it's like Megillah Esther. If you're into Shabbos, you're a Shabbos night. It's not Thursday, not Wednesday. It's not from this world. It's not from this world. So listen to me, here's the word of the sun. The sun says everything has to be clear. The moon comes and says, I want everything to be hidden. And I want even light, which is still hidden. The Oyer HaGonim. Then comes a leap year. Then I say, I want you to know something, even if it's revealed, it's still hidden. And even if it's hidden, it's so clear. Beyond hiding, beyond everything. I want to share something awesome with you. Everybody knows Pesach Sheni. After it's over and I'm crying, Gewalt, I lost it. Gewalt, I lost it. So, the Rosh gives me another chance. Purim Kotten is something else. Tell you something very deep. If I love a girl a little bit, I take her out and I really am so glad I met you. I had an unbelievable time. If I love her the most, I blow my mind before I meet her. I blow my mind. I want you to know Purim is one holiday 4 weeks before Purim Kotten. I'm already blowing my mind. 4 weeks before Sukkot is nothing. Maybe show them a Torah, you begin to learn, which is in proportion. You know what Purim Kotten is all about? 4 weeks before, I'm blowing my mind. So here I want you to know something so deep. Learning Torah she-bi-khtav, learning Chumash, the learning is in proportion. Why? When you learn Gemara, you have to learn day and night and still non-stop. Then it's deeper than anything, because Torah Sheba'al Peh is from blowing your mind. Something else, different kind of learning time where you have to sit down, because some people don't like some holy folks. Oh, you don't have Koyach. You want to stand here? Chaim, stand behind me. Chaim, let me have the privilege of sitting in the presence of Holy Chaim. Right behind you. Chaim, you're the cutest. Remember the Ishbitz Torah. Why is it that everybody built a Beis HaMikdash should come it all fit? How come everything fit? Basically, imagine you making a closet and somebody else makes bed, doesn't have to fit. Can you imagine hundreds of people were working on the Mishkan and suddenly it all got together? So the Ishbitzu says, because the Yidele who was building the Kodesh Kedoshim was thinking about, I wish I would be as holy as the Yidele who put nails in the Chutz. And the Yidele in the Chutz was putting in nails in the Chutz in the Rabban Shalom. I know, I don't even deserve the Chutz, but Gewalt, I wish I would be as holy as the Yidele who builds the Holy of Holies. Every Yidele was blowing his mind of what the other Yidele was doing. You see, if you blow your mind, what do you know? I have to share something awesome with you. The first story comes to me about blowing my mind. I think I mentioned to you already, but L'chaim. In the days of my father, I haven't seen him in many years. Was a person, a real playboy, I'm telling you, Mamish, Mashiach is coming, he'd be the playboy of the Messiah. I've never seen him with the girl twice, He lives around my corner, always with somebody else, and each time he introduces her to me as the love of my life, and Mamish, we get married next week, and I know him already, good. His name is Mr. Green. Okay. And I see him, some of you know my shul in New York, there's shul, its next house is West End Avenue, 401, he lives in 401. Okay, I see him especially when it's Shabbos, when he comes around. Listen to me. For the first time in my life, I had the privilege of seeing Mr. Green 3 times with the same girl. It's already a time Mashiach is coming. But then, one day I see him alone. It's already also unbelievable. I say, Brother Green, what happened? So he says to me like this. He says, you remember that girl you saw me with? He says to me, yeah. He says to me, I love her very much, but she's not Jewish. He says, believe me, it took a lot out of me. But I decided not to marry her. Unbelievable. A Yid doesn't know anything, doesn't keep anything. On Yom Kippur he walks in for 5 minutes for Maskeh Neshamas. That's his Yiddishkeit. I says, Mr. Green, it's unbelievable. What made you decide not to marry him? He says, I'll tell you something. I'm not super religious. He says, I'm an Orthodox Jew because I go to your synagogue, right? When Kippur comes in for 2 minutes. He says, I'm an Orthodox Jew, but I'm not super religious. But I want you to know, every Friday night, I make Kiddush. Now listen to this. And if I marry a non-Jewish girl, she wouldn't know what Kiddush is. Now listen to me. What is Mr. Green's Kiddush? He doesn't read Hebrew, he doesn't make Kiddush. He just drinks a lot of wine. I'm sure he's drunk every Friday night. He doesn't know. He knows Friday night you drink wine. Let me ask you, what is there that this non-Jewish girl cannot understand? I can explain Kiddush to every person in the world. What's there not to understand? But you know what? Inside Mr. Green goes his mind of a Kiddush, right? He took mine. I'm drinking wine at Shabbos. See, this is mind-blowing. It's not in proportion, because in proportion, so he drinks wine, Mazel Tov, what's going on there, right? So you see, the Mishkan was built from those little things. Every Yidele has one thing he's blowing his mind over. Every Yidele has one thing which is not in proportion. Now I want you to know something so deep. In Parshas V'Kudev we read Moshe Rabbeinu, even Moshe Rabbeinu cannot put the Mishkan together. Can you imagine he's trying 150 times? 150, the Medrash says it was 150 times he tried and it fell apart. Because I want you to know something. You see, obviously, if the Mishkan fell apart, each time it fell apart was like Chum Beis HaMikdash. And you made it Moshe Rabbeinu went through each time it fell apart. That was extraordinary. And you know what it is? Even Moshe Rabbeinu, I want you to know something very, very deep. Because to know how much every Yiddish is blowing his mind over one thing in the Torah, only Mashiach. It's even too much for Moshe Rabbeinu. And I want you to know the deepest depths. Moshe Rabbeinu didn't come into Eretz Yisrael. Remember I told you before, Eretz Yisrael is mind-blowing. Eretz Yisrael is mind-blowing. So basically, Moshe Rabbeinu, Torah Sheba'al Peh is mamish so many words and so many letters. Torah Sheba'al Peh is mind-blowing. What's the both together? Both together is Eretz Yisrael and the Mishkan. So can you imagine how much Moshe Rabbeinu was davening, crying his eyes out? That he should be Zocher to that mind-blowing connection of the Torah Sheba'al Peh and Torah Sheba'al Peh. I want you to know something very deep. Yom Kippur is a tanis. It does not say Divrei Hatzoymes for Zakotim. It doesn't say in Yom Kippur you have to cry. You have to do tshuva. Yelling like crazy. So, Carver, give me your attention, please. You know what Divrei Hatzoymes for Zakotim is? It's what Moshe Rabbeinu was crying because everybody knows Purim is Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu is fighting Amalek. Aaron HaKohen is Chanukah. Moshe Rabbeinu is Purim. You know how you fight Amalek? Amish. Remember Rav Nachman says, until here is everything, is my head. Reaching beyond this is my hand. And I just want to put it in different words. Everything is in proportion with my head. Blowing my mind, reaching beyond, this is my hand. Whatever it is, right? So, Mamish, I should say, Moshe, give me the privilege of blowing my mind. It's not just doing truth. It's Divrei Hatzoymes. Gewalt, Moshe. Divrei Hatzoymes, Zakotim, L'chaim. I want you to know, according to halacha, when I see a poor man, I don't have always to give, I just give. Everything is in proportion. And Purim is kol ha-poshet yad nosan. You know why? All year long, when I see a poor man, I think it's the mitzvah to give. On Purim, what's my answer to Amalek? Amalek says he don't really mean it. You imitate me. If I really mean it, if I see my brother needs something, am I looking up in the Shulchan Aruch if I should give him that? Purim is kol ha-poshet yad nosan. I see a poor man, I can't control myself. Can't control myself. to see something very deep. Basically, the way God is punishing us for driving us out from the land, what we went through 2,000 years, is completely beyond proportion. We didn't deserve it. So you tell me that the 6 million is unproportioned? Beyond proportion. You know why? Because anything which has to do with Eretz Yisrael is beyond proportion. Our loving Eretz Yisrael is beyond proportion. Our being driven out from Eretz Yisrael is beyond proportion. For us, everything is in proportion. What's Amalek coming? Amalek coming to us and he says, everything is in proportion. What's cool? Measure it, right? If I measure something, I have to be cool. If I don't measure something, I'm blowing my mind. I'm crazy, right? Amalek says, cool it. Measure it. I don't measure. So I want you to know the deepest depth. Tisha B'Av, always we're learning further. Yom Kippur is not the anti-Tisha B'Av. The real anti-Tisha B'Av is Purim. Because on Tisha B'Av, Mashiach is coming, and on Purim, we wipe out Amalek, and also Mashiach is coming. If you wait till the next morning. You know, after Pesach, I'm not waiting for anything. It's 7:20, Pesach is over. On Purim is over, and I'm still celebrating the next morning. I'm still waiting for Mashiach. On that waiting, that being drunk all night, gives me koyach to wait all year. Tisha B'Av, Bocha Sitka Balayla, right? I realize the way you punish us is beyond proportion. And here I want you to know something very deep. We learned it a lot of times, maybe some of you remember it. When I love a girl a little bit, right? And then we break up, she hurts my feeling with her feeling. We make up in proportion. If I love a girl the most, and she hurts my feelings, I'm angry with her beyond proportion. Well, you know something very, very deep, you know? I don't want to say anything bad, you know? You know, sometimes a person, you have a fight with somebody and you say, I don't ever want to see you again, as long as I live. That means I love you so much, if you could do wrong to me, I don't want to see you again. Beyond proportion. Beyond. See, the Rebbe Shlomo says to us, because if you destroyed the person, I don't ever want to see you again, right? Get out of my land. But also, the Mashiach is coming, it will be beyond proportion. The way the Rebbe shall bring us back from the 4 corners of the world, the whole world will come to Yerushalayim, it's beyond proportion. But why should an Eskimo come to Yerushalayim? Why should a Chinaman leave Peking and come to Darwin, Yerushalayim? It's all beyond proportion. It's crazy, right? Here I want to share something very deep with you. There's a Gewalt Sokolovich Torah. In fact, the whole thing, what I was telling you, is like my heart will be based on this Torah. There's a Gewalt Sokolovich Torah. Everybody knows the gas when the person comes to show him with a knife, he says, give me your money. The Bezdin catches him and he has to give back the money. A little gunner broke into your house late at night, nobody saw him. Bezdin catches him, has to pay back double. I mean, who's a bigger criminal? This person who comes with a knife. Okay, all the rabbis say Torah. This is Sokolovich Torah. Sokolovich Torah is like that. What's the deepest level in serving God? The deepest level of serving God is you do something and nobody knows about it. You know, I spoke to someone without again saying anything bad, without hurting anybody's feelings. I spoke to some Yidel who told me you got to meet my Swami. And he's a holy man. I'm not knocking it. I told him, I'll tell you something, your Swami is very holy. But you know what the difference between him and my Rebbe is? That you know every minute what your Swami is doing. I have no idea what my Rebbe is doing. Everything is hidden. And I don't trust my soul, which is hidden, with somebody serving God. Everybody knows. You know, Sokolovich Torah says the deepest Torah in the world. The highest thing in the world is to serve God without anybody knowing. And you do an avera but nobody knowing. You take the highest thing God gave you and you utilize for an avera. That's unforgivable. You do an avera like a bandit comes with a knife shot. Okay. You didn't utilize that holy godliness doing something decisive. It's a gewalt. I want you to know always Pashas Mishpotim is always or adoration or the Shem. Always begins at the beginning of the Torah. So just remember what I'm telling you. When you love somebody beyond proportion, I want to do things to them without them knowing. And also I want you to know the deepest depth. When I love somebody beyond proportion, I want to be with them alone without anybody knowing. What's the Beis HaMikdash all about? The Beis HaMikdash is that Yosef love you so much. I need a house to be with you. That's the best. As long as we love Yidden beyond proportion, we have the Beis HaMikdash. We began hating each other, measuring Yidden. God says, yeah, I'm ready to be with you, but not. You don't need me in a house. You can talk to me on the street. And I want you to know, again, the beginning of the chuppah is you cover the face of the bride. Mama, I love you beyond proportion. I want you to love me beyond. I want you to love your children beyond proportion. Everything beyond proportion. I want you to know, Esther says, Kasher Avati. Why be so negative? Should say, I'm sure, I took a course in self-esteem, and I listen to the subliminal tapes. I listen to the whole thing. I am just growth movement. You realize my potentials. Mordechai comes, says to me, Esther, you're so good looking. Are you telling it to every girl? No, I'm just Esther, you're so good. I'm sorry I didn't go to the beauty parlor for 2 days. I really feel bad. No, you look beautiful. I think you could charm the Zachashverosh and talk him out of it. You think I could? Okay, so Esther goes to the beauty parlor and she makes sure the lipstick doesn't stain because, I got to kiss Achashverosh and he feels bad. He has his new shirt on. I mean, can you imagine that? Can you imagine that? You know what the Melech says? Esther fasted for 3 days. Because the crazy thing is, if she wants to charm Achashverosh, you better eat. You better have koyach. She fasted for 3 days.